Hi, everybody. Ty Bordona here, professional full-time mediator, as well as the director of mediation for the Mediation Center of Central Florida, and primary mediation trainer as well. Um, Today I thought I would remind us more than anything, and start off with a question. The question being, does being pleasant and practical make a difference in mediation? Um, so let me break that up into two parts. Perhaps most importantly for this today is the pleasant part, right? So does every mediation end in agreement? Should every mediation end in agreement? The answer is no. Um, does that mean we don't try? No, of course we try. But the fact of the matter is that for any one of a number of reasons, sometimes the parties are not at the place where they can come to agreement. Um, but we should always be as positive as we possibly can be, and I think this makes a difference. We should be pleasant. Someone called me, and I've been called a couple of times. You know, the a very pleasant, the mediator, the Mister Rogers of mediation. I just love that. Because when the parties come to mediation, specifically not the non-represented parties, but the party, not the attorney, not a public adjuster, not the parties themselves, the ones with the problems that they're living with, that we need to try and help figure out. This is important to them, uh, and they're looking forward to their time at mediation in the hopes that it's going to get settled, and it doesn't all the time. Um, and while we do this for a living, and we see our fair share of non-agreements, they don't. And so be pleasant, be as pleasant as possible. It helps the parties in a number of ways. Um, our demeanor, our bedside manner helps the parties and the mediator build rapport, right? They'll start to trust you. And not only will they open up to you, but even when there's bad news, the way we deliver it, right? It makes a difference to them. They don't just feel like a number. So I would tell you, especially when there's an impasse, right? Be pleasant, be positive. Just because the parties didn't come to mediation, excuse me, to agreement today at mediation, that doesn't mean that agreement isn't potentially forthcoming. Sometimes the purpose of mediation is to clear up miscommunication, to help get the parties to a better understanding that they can then, and now in looking at new information or a new perspective or what have you, perhaps they can come to mediation, excuse me, they can come to agreement afterwards, right? So mediation, one way or another, serves its purpose, even when there's non-agreement. Be pleasant, right? It has served me very, very well. And so I would let you know it makes a difference in mediation. And also practical, right? I'm going to be practical. I don't end mediations fast, and I will try as much as I possibly can. But when you see that mediation, excuse me, that agreement is not forthcoming, um, the goal of mediation is, believe it or not, is not agreement. It's to facilitate the parties in such a way as to give them what they need in that moment, right? In that day at mediation. And it can be any one of a number of things. And it's not always agreement, and or it's not always a full agreement, and or it might be, what might it be? What do they need? Give them what they need, right? And so the mediation that I did today, there wasn't an agreement to be made. They weren't there yet, but they did need to feel each other out. They did need to know a few other things. They needed to get a better scope of where they were at and where they might be going. And I think that we did well today. And I'm hopeful that resolution can come between them at some future date, right? But you do all that you can do, and then you let them go on their way. Remember, their time is important as well. They're one way or another, they're paying for that time. So I don't want to keep the parties longer than I have to. When I get the sense that we've kind of done everything that we can, and you'll know, right? And how will you know? Experience. How do we become better mediators? Experience, by mediating, by observing as many mediations as you can, by doing mediations, by training, by being open, by being flexible, by being practical, and by being pleasant. I hope that helped. Okay. You're a superhero. Keep on doing what you do. You make a difference. So let's keep on making a difference, one mediation at a time, in our community, and hopefully, in turn the world. So best of luck. Talk to you soon. Stay well and keep on meeting.